everyone, and Mpira 90 plus. My name is Chelsea, and we are back. Hata kama niko peke yangu, we are back with the 4th episode, which is the 2016 edition of CAF CHAN. And as you can see, background imechange. Sile mmezoea vile mmetuita local tourist wako na tembea Kenya. Na mwenzangu, he's a bit under the weather. Tembea Kenya ilikuja na climate changes na maugonjwa kidogo hatukuwa tumepiga hesabu tukizunguka, but he will be back, all is well, and tunamuombea. Now let's dive in. So first, I'd like to start with the correction. In the last few videos, there's a video to big up Total Energies for sponsoring CAF CHAN and them taking a risk. That was an error. Not that they are not sponsoring CHAN, obviously Total Energies, but the OGs were sponsorship ya CAF CHAN was Orange. I don't know if you guys remember. Orange, like, kuna total kwa sim card na za Orange. I was nakumbuka nikiwa mdogo kulikuwa Safaricom, Telcom, Orange and the likes. But Orange took a chance. They sponsored 2011, 2014 and 2016. So they were the first ones. Walianza nayo, and well, after 2016, Total how do you say it? They put up more benefits than what Orange was offering, and so it changed. So Total Energies became the sponsors after the 2016 edition, but we apologize. Orange were the original sponsors of this thing. They took a risk, they took a chance, and it became, well, they've made history. They're part of it, and we would like to acknowledge it. Now, let us begin. Now, 2025 it's being hosted in East Africa, and we're making history by being the first ever CAF CHAN to be hosted by 3 countries, yani a region. But 2016 also made history, not just in the players, but it was also the first one to be hosted in Eastern Africa. So there's Rwanda. So Rwanda, they were the first Eastern African country to ever host. At this time, ilikuwa inaitwa Orange CAF CHAN, Orange African Nations Championship. So they made history by being the first Eastern African country to host it in 2016. And up until now, tumekuwa tunawaambia the biggest one is coming, the biggest one is coming. Obviously, say to some the biggest one in 2025, but during this time, 2016 up until now, 2016 I think was what we call groundbreaking, because you'll see later on, I'll explain the players, the way it became. Now 2016 marked it as an official proper scouting tournament, and I put that in quotes because it's not exactly meant for scouting, but it's just one of the benefits that comes from it for European clubs. So now Rwanda hosted it, and it started, traditionally they've been hosting it January to February. East Africa, again, we're making history tumewarusha mpaka the other half of the year, but we proceed. So Libya, kama mnakumbuka in our last video, Libya won the 3rd edition of CHAN, and unfortunately this is not like other tournaments. Other tournaments, typically you win, defending champions, automatic spot, it just works like that. This one does not. You have to earn your spot again and again and prove yourself worthy to just qualify, not even just to win, just to qualify. So unfortunately, Libya didn't make it, and the Northern Zone only produced Morocco and Tunisia. So our defending champions were unable to come back and fight again. And then to the West Africa. So you have Zone West A and Zone West B. So so West Africa has 2 zones. See, the same way, the version of Sekafa. So they have Zone West A, Zone West B. So Zone West A, they produced Guinea and Mali for the tournament, and Zone West B produced Ivory Coast, or should I say Cote d'Ivoire, Niger and Nigeria. Funny enough, kwa sentence we pronounce mbili na French. Nigeria tunafaa kuwatafutia jina ya French tuweke ka accent mahali, but anyway, that's beside the point. So Central Africa, they call it the Central Zone. So then we have DRC, Gabon and Cameroon. They qualified. Actually, up until mali tumefika, the most I was excited about was Ivory Coast and DRC. You will see why. Then we moved to the Central East Zone, CECAFA, sasa sisi. Ethiopia, Uganda, and Rwanda qualified automatically as host. That's the only automatic qualification CHAN had so far. So, host, here's your golden ticket. Oh, umeingia. So, Rwanda didn't qualify by playing playoffs and qualifications. So, you have Ethiopia and Uganda. Uganda have been qualifying, lakini kidogo vali wanafika. Inaona at some point wangeacha Kenya wanini. Wenzangu niko hapa ningemwingilia juu najua pia hii alicheza. Walicheza qualifications. Hii kupigwa na neighbors wetu. It's friendly competition na wana train, but some of us deserved the chance to see how far we could go. But now we receive it. 2025 CHAN, tutatokea ground to support watu wetu tuone mali tutafika. Then finally, Southern Zone, Angola and the neighbors Zambia and Zimbabwe. Hizo countries mbili tunafaa kuzitafutia jina tuwashikanishe juu sasa mnashare kila kitu. Anyhow, yes, those are your teams. Then they're put in groups. But before we get to groups, I want to do a comparison for venues. Because Rwanda was the first Eastern African country to host. And 2025, we have the whole of East Africa hosting. Not Eastern Africa, East Africa hosting. So, they used 4 stadiums. Rwanda walitumia stadiums 4, but only 3 cities. So, that meant their capital, Kigali, used 2 stadiums. If I butchered these names and you speak French or you're Rwandese, I apologize in advance. Correct me. So, number 1 is Amahoro Stadium, which has a capacity of 30,000. And then the second one in Kigali is called Stade Regional Nyamirambo. Now, Nyamirambo is in downtown, what most people call downtown Kigali. And it's a good population of people live there, and it's very nice. Rwanda is very safe and all that, but it has a capacity of 22,000. Now, they were hosting this on their own, and at that time Rwanda was not as developed as it is now, so I understand. But Kenya were hosting CHAN. Okay, we're not hosting alone, but I'll start with the Kenyan stadiums. We only have Nyayo Stadium and Kasarani. For people who know Kenya, mnaita Moi International Sports Center. So that one hosts 60,000 people currently, and Nyayo National Stadium 18,000. They look nice. I've seen the videos. By the way, FKF, good job. But you see the difference. The one hosting the final is 60,000. Yani, we're making leaps as a region, as a country. We moved from 22,000 and 30,000 to something like 60,000. And it's a big tournament. So they're moving forward. So there's progress. But also, which also begs the question, why didn't Kenya put in a bid to host earlier if we had stadiums that were bigger than certain other countries that have hosted before? On that note, let's go to the second city. It's called Butare. They used the stadium, Stade Huye. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It hosts 20,000 people. And finally, they hosted it in Gisenyi. It's called Umuganda Stadium. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the town correctly, but it's on the border. Gisenyi is like karibu na maji. It's on the border of Congo and I believe it's Congo and Rwanda. Like it's right, ukiingia huko, basically you can cross over. And the stadium hosts only 5,000 people. And to be honest, Gisenyi is quite far from Kigali. So moving the teams, because I'm pretty sure the teams are staying where there's training facilities and there's easy access to the airports and this and all that. But Kigali to Gisenyi is quite the drive. So, and to go to a stadium that only hosts 5,000, I feel was a bit unprepared, because 5,000 is a small stadium for a tournament like this. Like at this point, CAF CHAN is not an introductory tournament. Sahi wamemetengeneza jina, mnajua ni nini. They're hosting 16 countries So in my opinion, I feel like they shouldn't have used Umuganda Stadium just because of the capacity. It met regulations, obviously. Si lazima FIFA walifanya inspections zao, all the due diligence, but 5,000 is not a bit, in my opinion, it's quite small for a tournament like this. 16 countries, and you want to play certain games towards the border, and then the stadium is small. So you have people, let's say I'm Kenyan and I'm coming to see my team play. So I'm staying in Kigali. I'll take about a 2.5, 3-hour drive from Kigali to go in a stadium that hosts 5,000 people. It almost feels like nini sasa the, what do you call it? What the freak? Phrase imenipotea. Like this bottom, like wale anyways wale mnaekwa nyinyi mtacheza tu kwa game zenyu si kubwa hivyo. It doesn't feel fair. Everyone, if you qualify, you're a big deal, whichever way it goes. So they're put in groups. At this point, we have previous winners, finalists, semi-finalists, third place. So they were given points, and that's how they were grouped. So Group A, Rwanda were put in Group A automatically because of hosting. Again, the privileges that come with you offering yourself. So they had Rwanda, Ivory Coast, Morocco, and Gabon. Group B, we go to Cameroon, DRC, Angola, and Ethiopia. Group C, you have Niger, Nigeria, Guinea, and Tunisia. Group D, we have Zambia, Mali, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. So after hiyo tumeingia group C zilisha, watu waliqualify obviously. Tumeingia quarters. Our very own hosts Rwanda. I don't know the official team's nickname. I'd actually, ebu niambieni hapo kwa comments. I'd actually like to know. So Rwanda managed to make it out of the group stages and make it into the quarters, and they were grouped to play DRC. And not as you expected, but as most people would expect, DRC hapo Leopards walitoka 2-1 walishinda. But it was played in Amahoro Stadium, and big up to Rwanda because this game ended 2-1 after extra time. At 90, they weren't nani ameshinda. They scored the second goal after extra time. Now Amahoro Stadium is one that hosts 30,000 people. So you see, they're looking. I feel like they're also looking at the class almost. And I use the word loosely. The word class, I use it loosely in terms of countries. Nani ni former champion, ama level yenyu ya vile vitu ziko, or your officials how they were working around it. And then the second game for the quarterfinals, you had Zambia versus Guinea. Not Guinea-Bissau or Equatorial Guinea, like the original Guinea. So they went 0-0 and tukenda mapena. Nimeshinda nikiambiwa ball si fair, of which pena is a game of chance. I provigi ati you are the better team ama nini. Pena is a game of chance, but nyi mnaraje. Me personally, it's si fair game, but it's football. Football, mpira udunda. As you can see, nimevaa jezi ya Chelsea. I am proof mpira udunda. Underdogs anyway. Siko kwa mpira wazungu, nitakuja huko. He game now, walipeleka hiyo Gisenyi in Uganda Stadium. The capacity was 5,000. Now, this is where again I say, in my opinion, I feel like it's unfair. Zambia Guinea, it's not a high profile game. It's not what we'd expect. You'll hear Nigeria playing DRC. You'll want it at the biggest stadium because you know it will attract the biggest crowds and the biggest fan base and this and all that hype. But unaona team Zambia and Guinea, you see the if I use the word favoritism, that technical, I'm using these words loosely again, not this is exactly what happened. This is all in my view. So taking it Umuganda Stadium, it's a small stadium, it's far, the fatigue, it's a bit overdrawn. But you correct as you go. And again, this was 2016. We're now 9 years later. So we learn from our mistakes. Now, Tunisia, Mali. Now, for those of you who are Tottenham fans, there's this player mnafuata anaitwa najua kupronounce jina ya mwisho vizuri. Bissouma. His first name is, I believe that's French or Malian. Yves. In wale wanajua watu wanafuataga designers mnasemaga Yves Saint Laurent. Yves Bissouma huyo. Watu wa Tottenham. Hapa ndo yake ilianza. Okay, not career yake ilianza. He was 19 at this time. He was playing in Mali. He was playing for a local team. But he was 19 in 2016 playing at CHAN. And this is where it all started for him. When it comes to tukiongea kuhusu Europe, akwanza ball obviously at this point. Juu, kama umeitwa national team at 19, there is something you're doing right. There has to be something you're doing extremely, profoundly exceptional. So, this is where his journey started. Wale woni fans wa Tottenham, hapa ndo mali alianza. Nyinyi hamkumchukua directly from hapa, but tutafika hapo. So, Mali beat Tunisia 2-1 and they played in Nyamirambo, the one that has 22,000 for capacity. Again, these are the capacities at 2016. As per now, I am not sure of the capacities, but I'm speaking as of the tournament happening. And then finally, Cameroon played Ivory Coast and Ivory Coast beat them 3-0, but after extra time again. So most of these games zilikuwa ngumu, walipelekana mwisho mpaka mwisho. Haikuwa ati pana ati wewe you're better than this. No, si wote tumetrain, tutapigana, tutafika mwisho. Wewe shinda vile utashinda. Aya. Semis. So vile mmesikia results. So DRC walishinda game yao na Rwanda, they ended up being given Guinea. I'm saying being given Guinea because even though you're not playing at home, there's still like ile team inaandikwa kwanza like home advantage in an international sort of way. So DRC versus Guinea. Guinea, honestly, I'm very surprised. They held DRC 1-1 until after extra time. They went to penalties. Yani Guinea holding former CAF champions to penalties. To me, that as if I was a Guinea nationals, to know why official name ni Guineans. No, Guineans, that sounds wrong. There has to be a word for it. Anyway, if I was a Guinean national, I hope that is correct English. So comment hapo chini mniambie vile wanaitwa, but if for now I'll use Guinean national. Kama ni English yangu nimetengeneza, hope ina sound correct and tutasonga nayo for now. But I don't know. But they played at Amahoro Stadium with the one that hosts 30,000 people. So you see, DRC were being given the biggest stadium because that was the biggest stadium hosting the tournament, basically. And that's where the opening and closing ceremonies were hosted. And then Mali qualified, wakapewa Ivory Coast. Now, here is where your Tottenham boy Ali shine. He was already shining through the group stage and all that, but hakuwa amefunga. Now, Mali beat Ivory Coast by 1 goal. Yani game ilisha 1-0. Courtesy of who? Yves Bissouma. And Yves Bissouma. Courtesy of Bissouma, Mali won and qualified for the finals. Now, unbeknownst to him at the time, French. Lee. Is it Lil ama double L in your Y? Because I'm not sure. Certain French words double L become Y. But anyway, Lee were watching and they were very, very impressed. Because your boy got a contract. Alienda training, na akaenda, and he got a contract, and that's how his journey in Europe began. So CAF CHAN, well, I guess Yendo, what do you call? You would call him the poster boy for scouting for Europe, because he was the first player to go. Kuna wale waliitwa before waliitwa training but no contracts ever signed. Aliitwa, akaenda, akafanya training now, and they were impressed and they signed him. From Lille he went to Tottenham and now he's there. Na muona juzi wameshinda kikombe. Mnaona vile underdogs vitu zinaenda vizuri. Kwa underdog is not always a bad thing. It works in your favor because people underestimate you. Anyway, so finals, you have DRC and Mali automatically. But now, before you get there, you have third place. The team which in my opinion, missing a guess, Guinea would get this far. They got to 3rd place. So they're playing Guinea versus Ivory Coast. Again, at this point, I'm pretty sure people were like, Guinea, there's something to think twice about, and ile ya kufanya unageuzia mtu shingo mara mbili, ile okay, there's something we didn't know, there's something we haven't seen. But even though Ivory Coast won 2-1, it was a good game. And so Ivory Coast ended up in 3rd place. And yeah, finals tunaenda DRC versus Mali. Again, it went to Mahoro Stadium. So you can see the biggest stadium will host opening and closing games. DRC won 3-0. But normally I would say, unfortunately, Mali lost. It was in any other games, I think in other videos imesema unfortunately, fortunately for the other team. Congratulations to DRC. This was their 2nd win in this tournament. Yani in 4 editions, mtashinda nusu, mmeshinda mbili. Yani you're good to go. And all this with the local coach, because their coach is a former player mwenye pia amechezea local league zao. So local works, just so you know, local works. And now when it comes to venues, so as I've been saying, the smallest stadium was 5,000 people. Currently, vile East Africa tunai host, our smallest stadium is hosting 15,000 people. Na iko wapi? Zanzibar. Tanzania nyinyi ndio mko na kiwanja ndogo. It's called Aman. I think this is an Arabic name. Aman Stadium. It holds 15,000 people. That's the smallest. So you can see the shift. Tumetoka from 5,000 to 15. But that also comes with a big expectation. Guys, I am Kenyan. I am East African. I am African. But in this moment, this public service announcement, I am speaking to the East Africans, and more specifically wa Kenya. Unaona vile tunatokea maandamano and all this and that, mjaze kiviwanja hivyo. Mmekewa mpaka roadmap ya kufika Kasarani. Yani mambo ukipanda matatu yote shuka Safari Park. Mmeambiwa all roads lead to Kasarani. We are less than 3 weeks out. Anza kujipanga. Tickets are there, they are online. All roads lead to Kasarani. We may not be hosting the opening ceremony. Na msingoje closing ceremony juu inakuwa na sherehe. Tuende magame, to support watu wetu. In as much as you never know, nani aligies Mali itatoka group stage ifike finals? No one. Mnajuaje labda Kenya pia tutatoka group stage tufike finals, ama TZ ama Uganda, one of us mwenye anaweza fika huko. But either way, go show out, support, mjaze grao, turudi grao. Ball ni fun kuwatch. Mnaenjoy kuwatch ball kwa TV. Ball ya wazungu. Imagine kuwatch ball yenyu kwa kiwanja. Na viwanja zenyu zimetengenezwa, mmewekewa mpaka shades, mmewekewa floodlights, mmepewa hiyo pomp and circumstances you would call it. Kitu tu mjakewa ni ile ya Real Madrid ya kujifunga hapo juu, lakini inakuja. But jazeni viwanja, let's make this a thing. You never know. From this, labda tutaamua, tulijaza viwanja, we made it, tumefix viwanja, tumemeet regulations. We might just host AFCON. AFCON might be a Kenyan thing, not even East African. So show up. Tickets ziko online. Go to FKF Instagram page, Facebook. You will find them. Tickets are online. Na usikue scammed, lakini Wakenya tunajuana. Usiskamiwe. But all roads to jaze grao. Hakuna panda matatu yote ya Thika Road ushuke Safari Park uvuke bridge, utaingia kwa kiwanja. Show up. No hooliganism. We support fair play. Speaking of fair play, DRC won the Fair Play Award for this tournament. Not because they won the whole tournament, but because they played the best. Hawakuwa na issues nyingi when it comes fouls and cards and this and that. They were tumekuja ball, and that's what we came to do. Now, nimejua nimeongea kuhusu Bisuma kidogo, but I'd like to highlight certain players when careers zao were also jump started by the 2016 CHAN. And shout out to CAF CHAN for coming up with this for local players, because now you're giving these people who normally would never get a chance to play in to get seen by European scouts. Now they're being seen on one of the biggest stages in Africa, because usema AFCON the World Cup yetu. So CHAN is basically Club World Cup yetu in a way, but for countries. So I'll start with Mohamed Jete. Hey, Jesus. Mohamed Jete. He played in 2016, and that CHAN iliisha February. And he moved to what wanna follow Spanish league, a team called inaandikwa Gymnastic, but I fear again I'm pronouncing it wrong. So, Mohamed Jete, hiyo team inaandikwa vile naisoma inaandikwa Gymnastic. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it wrong because there's an accent on the A, but yeah, Gymnastic. So he went that July 2016 and he moved and he signed, and that was that. He's Cameroonian, and currently I'd like to see, he's still playing internationally, hachezi Africa. Let's see nani anajua anachezea wapi. But no, you see the kind of platform CHAN is giving. And then there was also another one called, this one is simpler, Abdul Karim Dante. Mbona Dante nasomeka jina ya mtaa, but anyway, yeye pia ni wa Mali, si Bisuma peke yake alimake it, alitoka. He was also seen. Currently he's 26. So you see, it's young players getting these chances. So Abdul Karim, after hiyo, he plays center back. Alionekana na I know people follow different leagues. There are people who follow the Belgian league, the Anderlecht. It's Anderlecht, one of the two. Tell me which one is right. And he got signed that October of 2016, thanks to CHAN. Alienda hizo training and the formalities, this and that, and that's how he went to Europe. So again, everyone I'm naming, niambieni anachezea wapi. This one I'll give you a clue because siko sure kuna watu wanafuata ligi ya Lithuania hapa. Vuni tuone by show of hands mwenye mnafuata ligi ya Lithuania. Ama kama hii ndo mara ya kwanza unasikia kuna country kama hiyo, niambie ukweli. Aya. And then there's Daniel Afriye. This shouldn't be hard because it's a Ghanaian name, but Daniel Afriye. He left after CHAN. He left for Switzerland and joined FC Zurich. So you see at Europe, nikisema Europe tunaanza kupiga sababu ya Germany, England, Spain, Italy, Paris is not a country, I apologize, France, but Europe as a whole, kila country kona league yake. So he went to Zurich, and that was that. And then finally, this is the last name I'll say, but there's a whole list of players who moved to Europe thanks to 2016 CHAN. Yusufa Njie, Kenya, but he's Gambian, and he left and went to play in Portugal, a team called Boa Vista. Most of you mnajua Portugal thanks to CR7, but tuko na wa Africa huko. So currently, please, everyone I've mentioned, niambieni ni wanachezea country gani sai. And also, something to note, Yusufa Njie is what my generation would call a legacy, because his dad is regarded as the greatest Gambian footballer of all time. He's the GOAT in his country. His dad is probably watu nasiu mama yangu na baba yangu and my grandfather saw playing. His name is Biribiri. Kama unajua ni player mgani, nielezeni hapo chini, educate me. I do not understand football before, well, sitasema ndo mwanzo kucalculate age yangu, but I don't understand. I don't remember these people that far. Sasa yini, I wouldn't say old people, nasema millennials. Mimi ni Gen Z, millennials, and baby boomers. Ndio labda mtajua huyu ni nani. But yeah, he's a legacy, and I'm pretty sure you make your parents proud if you follow in that line, but they're also worried. But niambieni Biribiri ni nani? But Yusufa bado ako nje. So you see, everyone I've mentioned went out and is still out. So 2016 CHAN, that's why we kept saying in other videos. And if you haven't watched the other videos, rudi uone Kenya tunasema. Hata wewe tembea Kenya na sisi kwa YouTube. Tembea tu Kenya na sisi kwa YouTube. But anyway, everyone who left the local club in 2016 CHAN has not come back play for the local club, they come back for international duty. And I get wengine mtaona it's a disadvantage thanks to ati local sasa club ina lose talent and nini, but you're also looking at the gain for this person. These people are playing football for fun. ECPS. This is ini kazi. Utapata mali pesa inaenda. So it works for them. Na on that note, I've just remembered Bajabir alikuwa online akisema mambo ya Odegaard and nini. Maybe pia hii 2025 ni mwaka yake ya kuenda Arsenal. Who knows? Do you think it is happening? Comment down below. And on that note, that is where I close it. And just before we stop, I will give you guys 5 seconds to do what? To comment, to like, to subscribe, turn on that notification button, and then click share, and share it to everyone you know. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. By the way, what was TikTok, we told you we were going to say thank you, and we went live for the first time during the Chelsea winning game, FIFA Club World Cup. We went live, and obviously mko mnatuona sisi, but we showed the game, the first half, the full first half. So that was our mini gift to you. When we are back as a pair fully, we will be back. TikTok, thank you for getting us to 1,000 followers. That was our way of saying thank you, enabling us to be able to go live now. And we see you. Facebook tunawaona, Instagram tunawaona. We see the support everywhere and we appreciate it. YouTube, thank you. Mwah. You guys are amazing. You've become family. And 5 seconds zenyu zimeisha. I hope mmefanya hizo vitu zote nimetaja. Juu ni vitu 5, kila kitu ni sekunde moja. Ama ni aje wadau. But thank you, football enthusiasts, Mpira 90+ fam. Subscribe, share, comment, correct me, and answer the questions I've asked in the video. Bye.